Hi guys, my name is Rishabh and today we are starting chapter 5 interest rates. Before you watch this video, I will highly recommend you that you watch my previous video on chapter 4 time value of money because the content of this video are in continuation of the topic. In this chapter, we will learn about effective and nominal rates. We will look at how interest rates may be expressed in different time periods and we will derive relationship between them. First, let's have a look at what effective rates are. Effective rates are compound rates that have interest paid once per time period, either at the end of the time period or at the beginning of the time period. If the interest is paid at the beginning of the time period, then the rate is called effective discount rate. And if the interest is paid at the end of the year or at the end of the time period, it's called effective interest rate. Effective rate represents the total single amount of interest you have earned in the unit time period. The effective rate can be calculated for any time duration. To calculate effective interest rate for any time period, you just need the value of the money at the starting and the ending point. Suppose I invested 5000 rupees at time 0 and got 9000 rupees at time 5. In 5 years time. So to calculate the 5-year effective rate, that is I want to calculate the effective rate for this period, I will calculate it as follows. Suppose I'll call this rate as I5. We will learn about the actuarial notations later on, but right now we'll call it this rate as I5. So to calculate this I5, first I'll calculate the amount of interest that has been paid in this time duration upon the initial amount that I invested. So this numerator is my interest paid and this 5000 in the denominator is my principal amount. And the time period we are considering here is 5 years. So the effective rate for 5 period I5 will be 0.8 or 80%. If you remember, this is an example from previous video. So the effective rate for 5 year is 80%. This means that we are earning net interest of 80% on the principal amount every 5 years. You can calculate this rate for any time period, whether it is a year, month, week, or even a decade. Similarly, I will now show you an example of effective discount rate. For that, we'll consider a scenario where there is a company and the company is due to receive 1 lakh rupees in 6 months time. That is, its customer will pay the company 1 lakh rupees in 6 months. But the company wants the money immediately. So it goes to a discount house and it offers the entitlement of that payment to the discount house. And in return, it get 90,000 rupees immediately. So this is our setting. In 6 months time, this timeline is in months, the discount house will receive 1 lakh rupees from the company's customer, and in return the discount house is paying 90,000 rupees to the company right now. So I want to calculate the discount rate that has been applied to this scenario, and I want to know how much effectively I have earned or I have paid in this 6 months duration. So to calculate the effective 6 month discount rate, I'll move ahead as follows. I will call this rate D6. Similarly, like we did earlier, I'll calculate the discount or the interest amount, which will be upon the initial amount, that is 1 lakh rupees, since discount is calculated on the amount at the end of the time period. So here this amount is my interest amount at the beginning of time period. And this 1 lakh rupees is my loan slash amount at end of time period. So my discount rate will be D6 equals to 0.1 or 10%. So in this discount rate means that I am actually paying effectively 10% for the 6 months duration. So we see we can directly calculate these amounts or these rates in a general way. So in general, if we have an amount an minus 1 at time n minus 1 and an amount an at time n, so to calculate directly the effective interest and discount rate, we'll calculate it as the effective interest rate for this time duration will be I, and I'll calculate it as the total interest paid in that duration, which is an minus 1 upon the initial amount that I invested or got, an minus 1. Similarly, the effective discount rate will be calculated as D equal to the total amount paid as interest upon the ending amount at the end of time period an. So we see in general, if we want to calculate effective discount interest rate for any time duration, what we have to do, we first have to calculate the amount of interest that we are paying at the beginning or at the end of the period, and then divide them with their respective figures, corresponding figures at the end and the beginning time period. In interest rate, we divide by the initial amount at the start of the year, and to get the discount rate, we divide them with the ending amount at the end of the period. There's one last thing that is very important about interest rates, effective interest rate, is that actually it applies to both effective interest rate and effective discount rate. So suppose I is equals to 10% per annum. This means this I equal to 10% is my effective rate per annum, that is per year. If I invest an amount of 1 at time 0 and look at the figures, suppose this is my half year, this is first year, this is second year, and this is third year. I invested 1 here, so my accumulated amount at time 1 will be 1.1, at time 2 it will be 1.2 square, and at time 3 it will be 1.1 to the power 3. If suppose I want to calculate the effective rate of this duration, I want to calculate the effective rate for 2 years. What I will do, I know that the accumulation factor is this, which is equals to 1.21. So if I invest 1 at the starting point, I'll get 1.21 at the end of 2 years. And there is only one payment, that is 1.21 directly at the end of the first year. So effectively, I am earning an interest rate of 20%, 21% on the initial principal amount. So this will be my effective rate for 2 years. Effective rate for 2 years. Similarly, if I want to calculate the effective rate for a duration of 3 years, from here to here, a duration of 3 years, what I'll do to calculate this rate, I know the accumulation factor for 3 years is 1.331. So if I invest 1 at time 0, I will get 1.331 as a single amount at the end of the third year. So I see that I am earning an interest rate of 33.1% effectively in 3 years. Effective rate just means that I am getting net amount, or I am earning net interest at the rate of 33.1% in 3 years. So my interest rate effective for 3 years will be this much. Similarly, let's see what I get when I multiply this rate as follows. If I know the effective interest rate per annum is 1.1, if I do this, if I add half in the power of 1.1, I get, that is, I am calculating now the effective interest rate per half year directly from the effective interest rate per annum. This factor will be 1.0488. This means that my effective interest rate per 6 months or per half year is 4.88%. I am earning a net amount of 4.88% on my principal each 6 months. Now we move on to our next topic of nominal interest rates. Nominal rates are also rates, but their representation is little different. Nominal rates are used when interest is paid more or less frequently than once per measurement period. Nominal rates are often quoted by banks for different types of loans and investments. We denote nominal interest payable P times per period as, so this is the general notation of a nominal rate. I will explain this notation in a moment. Nominal rates are always referred to as the rate of interest convertible pthly. This is the P in the bracket. I'll just show you what that means. Suppose you go to your bank to take a loan, and the person at the bank told you that you will be charged an interest rate of 12% per annum. What he says that if you take the loan from the bank, you will be charged an interest rate of 12% per annum, compounded quarterly. Compounded quarterly. So this is the representation of a nominal rate. By seeing these two words, compounded quarterly, we now know that this rate of 12% per annum is actually I4 in the bracket 0.12. This is the way of representing a nominal rate. Here, since interest rate is paid per annum, so our unit time period or measurement period is 1 year. And since interest is paid interest is paid at the end of each quarter, so our P will be equal to 4. And this 12% rate will be written as I4 equal to 0.12. This is an annual rate. This 4 in the bracket is just telling us that this is a nominal rate and interest is compounded or calculated 4 times a year. This 4 is not in the power of I, it is just a notation for nominal rate. Now we look at an example and the timeline to get the idea of what's going on here. So when we write interest rate like this, when the person at the bank told us that we will charge an interest rate of 12% per annum compounded quarterly, it means he is quoting us a nominal interest rate. And what he actually means is that he wants to say that at the end of every quarter, I am writing it as, this is my 0 time period, this is the end of first year. I am writing my first quarter as 1 upon 4. This is the end of my first quarter or the date 31st March of any year. This time here represent the end of my second quarter. You can also write it as 2 upon 4 for your convenience if you want. This is the 30th June and I am representing 3 by 4 as my ending of third quarter, or you can say 30th September, and last the end of final year. So this rate here I4 equal to 12%. This means that according to the definition nominal rate, this means that at the end of every quarter you will be charged an interest rate of I4 upon 4, that is 0.12 upon 4, that is 0.03. So this notation here I4 equal to 12 means that in one time period, that is 1 year, you will be charged interest or you will be compounding interest 4 times, and each time the rate will be this I4 upon 4, that is 3%. So suppose you took a loan of 100 rupees. At time 0 at the rate of 12% per annum compounded quarterly. 12% per annum compounded quarterly. I can write this or I can write this. These both things are equivalent. They both mean the same thing, that the 12% rate is actually a nominal rate, and I cannot directly multiply my amount at the starting of the year to get the amount at the end of the year. So this means that my nominal rate is 12%, and I will be charged interest 4 times. So this is my time 0. I invested 100 here, and at time 1, this is my first quarter, this is my second quarter, this is my third quarter. Now look at what is going on here. Suppose I invested 100 rupees in this bank account which pays 12% per annum compounded quarterly. So at the end of first quarter, I will earn an interest of 3% for this quarter. In this duration, I will earn an interest rate of 3%. So I will get 3 rupees as interest, and my balance at the end of the first year will be, this is my balance at the end of first year, at the end of the first quarter, not year, will be 100 plus 3, this much. Similarly, at the end of second quarter, I will earn interest rate on this amount, and again the rate applicable will be 3% for this time duration. So this time I am earning 3% on the next second quarter, and the amount will be 3.09, and my total amount will be 106.09. Similarly, in the third quarter, I will again earn interest on this amount here. I am writing the balance amount directly because you have learned this topic in first chapter or fourth chapter, so you know. And similarly, at the end of fourth quarter, the interest amount will be 3.278 and the last balance will be 112.551. Now, if you look this example closely, you will know that in each quarter, this is my quarter, in each quarter I am earning a rate of 3% effectively in that quarter. It means the quarterly effective rate is 3%. If you consider one quarter as one time period, if you consider this duration as one time period, you will know that if there is an amount here, you can directly get the amount here by multiplying it with 1.03, because we see that the effective rate that is being applied is 3% for each quarter. So to calculate the amount at the end of each quarter, suppose we started with 100. To get the amount at the end of first quarter, I will get this amount here. Then if I multiply it again with 1.03, I get the amount at the end of second quarter. Then at the end of third quarter, and finally at the end of fourth quarter. This is my final amount. Now we want to know how much you have earned in the year as interest. That is, you want to know the net effect of this compounding or the net rate for the year, for the complete year. Suppose I don't want to calculate the amount every quarter and I just want to know how much I've earned in total in this year. So what I know that I invested 100 rupees here and I got 112.551 here at time 1. So to calculate the effective rate for this time period, we know how to calculate that. I will call this rate as I. I just means the effective rate for 1 year. So this will be the total amount of interest that has been paid in this duration, 12.551 upon the initial amount 100. So I get that I have earned an interest rate of or 12.551 percentage. So this I equal to 12.551% is the effective rate of interest per annum. It is equivalent to the 12% per annum compounding quarterly rate. That is this rate here 0.12551 and this rate here So whether I compute my amount at the end of the year using this rate or whether I use this rate to get my amount at the end of the year, I will get the same amount of money. So these two rates are equivalent. Nominal rates does not cover the interest effect, the effect of compounding at the end of each quarter. It just tells us that you will get 3% at the end of each quarter. It is not, this 12% rate per annum is not including the effect of compounding that is being done 4 times each year. So if you know the interest rate, effective interest rate for one time period, suppose this time period is quarter, you can directly get the nominal interest rate per annum compounded quarterly. Since there are 4 quarters in each year, So we got 12% per annum. But since this rate is not effective, we will write there per annum compounded quarterly. Now moving ahead. Now from now on, we will calculate our amount on 1 rupees. That is, we will take our initial principal to be rupees 1 instead of 100. Since the principal is always multiplied by the factor, so it does not really matter what amount you take. We will calculate everything on rupees 1 and then we'll multiply it with whatever amount we want later. So if we had invested 1 rupees instead of 100 in the previous example, our timeline will look like this. 1, 1.03, 1.06, 09, 1.09273 and 1.12, 1.12551. It's the same, the only difference is that every amount is divided by 100. Earlier we saw that to get the accumulated amount at the end of the year, we multiplied our capital by 1.03 every time. So we know that whether we multiplied our amount by this 4 times or whether we multiplied with 1.12551 directly, we will get the same amount of money, because this is when we are given nominal rates per annum and we convert it in effective rate per quarter, and this is when we calculate the effective rate for every year. So this 1.03 is actually 1 plus I4 upon 4 to the power 4. And this is something like, this is 1 plus I. So my I was 12% as we calculated earlier, and I4 was given 12%. So we get this general result. If we are given any interest rate I and I want to calculate the nominal rate, I can calculate it as follows. And if I am given a nominal rate and the time period P, this is actually the time period P. This 4 everywhere is the P. It denotes how many times we are paying interest in the unit time period. Since the 12% per annum rate was for year, so our unit time will be 1 and P equal to 4. So in every year I'm paying interest 4 times. So the general formula for calculating the effective rates when you are given nominal rates is I equals to 1 plus IP upon P to the power P. This will be equal to 1 plus I, so I will less 1 from here. And we can now see intuitively why this formula works. You don't need to remember it. If you practice, when you will practice the question, you will learn it automatically. Similarly, we can get the nominal rates when we are given effective rates. So for that I'll write the formula for that is, suppose you want to know the nominal rates, which will be this 1 plus I is my effective rate, so I will get the accumulation of 1 year. If I multiplied it 1 by p, then this term will when I raise it to the power 1 by p, this will give me the effective rate of that effective factor of that pth time period. If I less 1 from this, I will get the effective interest rate in that quarter or month or whatever that period duration is. And when it multiplied by p, I get the nominal rate, that is the annualized percentage of that amount. So we can also understand the above formula from this diagram, the first one. Suppose this is the end of, I'm taking my unit time period as 1 and I'm taking nominal rate as IP equal to something, let's say 10% or whatever, it will not be used. So what I will do, I will divide my timeline into 1 upon p periods. Since in the last example p was 4, so we divided our timeline into four parts, and each part was equal to 1 upon 4. So if there are total p parts, each part will be 1 upon p, this will be 2 upon p, and so on. This one here will be p upon p, and just before this time period we will have p minus 1 upon p. This is a general timeline, just to make sure you have understood the concept. So this is IP is my nominal rate for the whole year. I can calculate the effective rate for this duration. I can calculate the effective rate for this duration. This will be IP upon P. Suppose P is equal to 4. So I4 upon 4, that is 10 upon 4, which will be 2.5%. So this means that the effective rate I am earning 2.5% every 1 upon p duration, and since we have taken p equal to 4, so every quarter. So I will earn like this, and finally to get the complete effective rate, which will be 1.1 plus IP upon p, that is the effective rate in one duration, and to the power p and minus 1 to get the rate. So now let's move ahead. One thing, so we have learned that we have two different ways to calculate the amount at the end of the time period. We'll now consider two scenarios or two cases. In the first case, what you can do, you are given suppose this. Okay, you are given a nominal rate interest rate of 12% compounded quarterly. So you can treat every period as one time period and use the effective rate for that time period of IP upon P. So I will get my effective rate for each quarter as 3%. So to calculate the amount at the end of each period, so in the first case, what we'll do, we'll consider each quarter as one time period, and since we know the rate for this time period, which is 3%, I can directly calculate my amount at the end of fourth time period as this. So this is the first method for calculating this accumulated amount. The second method is case 2 or method 2, whatever you call it. In the second case, we'll first calculate the effective rate and then we'll use that rate. So we calculated effective rate as this, and to get the accumulated amount at the end of this year, I will use this rate directly. So my accumulation amount will be directly. You can choose whatever method that suits you well, but the best practice is actually it depends on the question, what kind of question we are facing and what is the situation. Sometimes it is easy to calculate the effective rate for the whole period and use that rate to calculate the amount, and sometimes it is easy to break those periods into single periods of like we did in the first case. We divided the whole timeline into 4 time periods, 1 2 3 4, that is representing each quarter. So this will be the same. So that was all about interest, effective and nominal interest rate. To summarize this all, I will give you a little summary and revision of what we have learned so far. So the first thing we learned is that effective rate is the net rate of earning. That is, we multiply this rate by the principal and we get the accumulated amount at the end of the unit time period. Nominal rate is another type of representation of interest rate. Nominal rate does not cover the effect of compounding. It is represented by I to the power p, where p represents the number of payment in the unit time period. So, and nominal rate does not give us directly the accumulated amount. And we learned two formulas to switch between nominal and effective rates. If we know the nominal rate per annum, we can calculate the effective rate per annum, and if we are given the effective rate per annum, we can calculate the nominal rate for the period, whatever we want. Now we'll do some questions that will help us grasp the concept more clearly. So our first question, in the first question we are given monthly effective rate of 2%. And we want to calculate nominal annual interest rate convertible monthly. So we want to calculate this amount, this rate, and we are given, this is my end of the first month, and we are given that we are earning an interest rate of 2% per every per every month. Sorry. So we know that nominal rate per annum is just the representation. So our nominal rate I12 will be 2% into 12 equal to 24% directly. See, this is not the effective rate, so we will not use that formula for calculating the rate. We were directly given the effective rate 2% per month, so the nominal rate will be directly 24%. In the second question, we are given nominal interest rate of 3% per annum convertible to monthly. Convertible to monthly means we are given interest at the end of every 2 months. So there will be a total of 6 payments in a year. So we will write it as I to the power 6. Not power, I in bracket 6. This will be 0.03. And we want to find the effective rate for that 2-month period. This is our whole and suppose this is the end of the second month, this is the end of the, and so on, and we are given, and we want to calculate the effective rate in this period of 2 months. So this will directly be by I6 upon 6 equal to 0.03 upon 6, which will be 0.005 or 0.5% per 2 months. Let's do another one. In this question, we want to calculate nominal annual interest rate convertible quarterly. So we want this rate. And we are given effective rate 5% per annum. We are given I equal to 5% per annum. So it is simple, we can directly use the formula that we learned. Since this 5% rate is per annum, so I'll first get the effective rate for 1 quarter by doing this. By this factor, I get the effective factor for that 1 quarter, and I'll subtract 1 to get the effective rate, and then I'll multiply it with by 4. So I will get this rate as 4.90889%. About rounding, while performing calculation, we prefer that we round off to numbers, and especially percentages numbers, because these are relative figures. So we round them off up until 5 figures, 5 decimal places. So now calculate another, we'll do another question. We are given nominal interest rate of 12% per annum convertible monthly. Now we are given I12 equals to 12%. Now since we are given I12, now the payments will be made, not payment will be made, we will earn interest at the end of every 1 month. And our motive is to calculate the effective rate I. So we can do that. First we'll calculate the effective rate for month, which will be I12 upon 12. So it will be 0.01. And to calculate the interest rate, effective interest rate, we'll proceed as follows: 1.01 to the power 12. This will give us the accumulation factor of 1 year. We'll subtract 1 to get the rate. This rate will come out to be 12.6825%. We'll do another question. In this question, we are given nominal interest rate of 12% convertible every 4 months, 4 monthly. So since payments are made every 4 months, there will be a total of 3 payments in a year. So my interest rate is 12% per annum convertible 4 monthly, and we are told to find out the annual effective interest rate. We can calculate that. First we'll calculate the effective rate for every 4 months, which will be 0.04, or you can directly use the formula 1.04 to the power 3 minus 1. So I will be 0.124864, like this. So next question. In this question, we are calculating the present value. We have been told that 500 is invested, sorry, not present value. We are given that 500 is invested in an account that pays 8% per annum convertible half yearly. We are given interest rate of, since convertible half yearly, so there will be 2 payments each year, and the rate is 0.08. We are investing 500 at time 0, and we want to calculate the accumulated amount at the end of 3 years at time 3. So we can do this question in 2 ways. First way is method 1. In this method, we'll break the whole timeline into 6 months period, like this. So in 3 years, there are total of number of 6 months. I mean, first 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So there are total number of 6 months period in 3 years, and the effective rate per 6 months will be 0.04. So we are earning an interest rate of 4% every 6 months. So our accumulation factor will be 1.04 to the power 6. And since we are investing 500 rupees, I will multiply this amount by 500 to get amount directly, which is 632 rupees 66 paise. In method 2, I will first calculate the effective rate for each year. I will calculate I, that is interest rate per annum effective, which will be 1.04 square minus 1, that is 8.16%, or 0.0816. And now to get the accumulation factor, since this rate is per annum effective, 1, 2, 3, these are my time periods, 8.16% per annum. So my accumulation factor will be 1.0816 power 3. And since I've invested 500, so I will get the amount of 632.66. That is the same as what we got in the first case. We can similarly calculate the present values of these amount in similar two ways. We'll do this last question where we calculate the present value similarly. So we are given, in this part we have 800 due in 5 years time, and we want to calculate the present value of this 800 rupees now, and we are told that the interest rate that is applicable to this scenario is I12 equal to 0.09. That is, we are given nominal interest rate of 9% per annum compounded monthly. So if we use our method 1, we'll break the timeline of 5 years into months. And since there are total number of 60 months in 5 years, and so on. So in each month I am earning an effective rate of I12 upon 12, that is 0.09 upon 12, which will be 0.0075. So this is the effective rate I am earning here, which is 0.75%. So I can get my discount. Since my 800 rupees is here, I will calculate the discounting factor for time 0 to 60, which is 1 upon accumulation factor. This will come out to be 1.0075 to the power minus 60, and I can calculate now the accumulated amount of discounted amount of 800 by this, which will be 510.96. In the second method, we'll calculate first the effective interest rate applicable per annum. So in method 2, I'll first calculate the effective rate per annum as 1 plus I equals to 1 plus 9% divided by 12 to the power 12. So my I will be 1.0075 to the power 12 minus 1, which will be 9.381%. So now I have got the interest rate per annum effective, so I can directly calculate the present value as 800 into V 0,5, where my Z 0,5 will be just 1 upon A 0,5, and 800 into 1.0931 to the power minus 5, which is just my discounting factor for 5 years given the interest rate 9.381%. So this amount will again be equal to the previous one which we got 510.96. So it is exactly same whether you calculate it from method 1 or method 2. If you do not understand the concept of accumulating or discounting the amount, I will recommend you that you watch my previous video again if you haven't watched it already, and also read chapter 4 again. Practice more with the questions to get a good grasp of the concepts. The more you will practice with this question, the more you will understand the concept, and you will be handy with calculations of typical questions. Our next topic is a repetition of what we just did earlier in this video. The only difference is that now we will be working with discount rates instead of interest rates. So, to refresh your memory about discount rates, let me tell you what discount rates are. So, in a normal setting, the interest is paid at the end of the year, but when we are considering discount rates for a loan that has been taken of 100 rupees at the amount of 1, the lender wants the money or interest to be given upfront at time 0. So he will deduct the amount of interest that he wants, and he will give me the rest amount at the start of the year. So a setting which in discount rate looks like this. So to calculate discount rate, which is quoted on this amount, which is a loan amount, will be 10%. So a factor of 1 minus d, which is 0.9% or 0.9 or equal to 90%, gives us the amount at time 0 relative to this figure. So I am getting at time 0 90% of this amount, that is 90 rupees. So this was a little introduction or revision of discount rates. Now we will talk about nominal discount rates and how to accumulate or discount a sum of money with these rates. Just like nominal interest rates is payable P times per period is denoted by IP, we denote nominal discount rate payable P times per period as DP. This is also called discount rate convertible pthly or compounded pthly. So if this is my time period and this is my quarter 1, this is my second quarter, this is my third quarter, and suppose this is my last quarter 1. So when we are paying by the interest rate of this, that means we are paying at the end of every quarter. So I will pay interest here, 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 and here. Here. And when I am paying by the discount rate D4, it means I will pay discount 4 times in a year at the beginning of each time period, that is at the beginning of each quarter. So I will pay interest rate, I will pay a discount here, 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 and here. In both the setting, I have paid interest 4 times per year, but the interest is paid at the end of each quarter. This is the end of each quarter, and the interest in the second setting, the discount setting, is paid at the start of each quarter. So the first quarter is this, so at the start here. For second quarter I will get here, for third quarter I will get here, and for final quarter I will get it here. So we have seen that just like interest rate, we have D4 for nominal discount rate per annum compounded quarterly. Similarly, D12 will represent the nominal discount rate per annum compounded monthly. Also, just like we did in interest rate case, we can also calculate the effective rate for one quarter. Suppose this is my quarter 1, this is my quarter 2, and this is my quarter 3, and this is my quarter 4. To calculate the effective discount rate that is applicable to one quarter, I can calculate it like D4, that is my annualized D4 upon 4 will give me the discount rate, effective discount rate for one quarter. So when I multiply this rate by amount that is present here, I will get the amount here. Also, we have the same formulas to calculate or switch between nominal and effective rates. So we see when we want to calculate when we want to calculate the effective discount rate from the nominal one, we can calculate it as follows: 1 minus d is equals to 1 minus dp upon p to the power p. And when we are given the effective discount rate, we can calculate the nominal rate as follows: in the above formula, this factor or the term on the right hand side, this term will give me the total discount in 1 year when I am using the nominal rate, and this term here will give me the total discount by using the effective rate. Equating them both, I can switch between them. In the second formula below, D is my effective annual rate. When I calculate 1 minus D, this gives me the annual factor of discounting. When I raise it to the power 1 by P, I get the discounting factor for each period. And to calculate the rate for that period, I will subtract that rate from 1 minus P, from 1. And I can get the annualized rate by multiplying it by P again. So you see, the procedure in both the rate is exactly the same. Now we'll do some questions to practice this concept. In the first question, I've been given the nominal effective discount rate of 5%. So here my D is equals to 0.05 and I want to calculate nominal annual discount rate convertible quarterly, that is D4. So I can directly calculate D4 as 1 minus 0.95, which is my discounting factor for 1 year, to the power 1 upon 4, and I will get D4 as 5.09685%. In the second question, nominal discount rate of 12% per 4 monthly, that is D3 is given as 0.12. So total number of payments are 3 at the beginning of every 4th month. So first payment will be at time 0, that is the beginning. So suppose 1, 2, this is my end of the first month. So I will get in discount here, here and here. 0, 1 by 3, 2 by 3 and 1. So total there will be 3 payments. To calculate the annual effective discount rate D, 1 minus D is equals to 1 minus D3 upon 3 to the power 3, or the effective factor or the effective rate applicable to this period here. The rate applicable to this period will be D3 upon 3, that is so I will get my D is equals to 11.5264%. You will notice that the effective interest rate when given nominal interest rate is always greater than the nominal rate. because the effective rate contains the effect of compounding p times. Similarly, the effective discount rate is a little bit lower than the nominal discount rate because it also considers the effect of compounding 4 times. In the interest rate setting, the amount increases because we are earning more on the amount that is not yet earned money. Whenever you are given nominal discount rates, the best practice is to first convert them in effective discount rates and do calculations. Recall from the last chapter that when we are given discount rates, our accumulation and discounting factor are as follows. So if I am given my annual effective discount rate D, I am given D, then my accumulation factor will be 1 minus D to the power minus n, and my discounting factor will be 1 minus D to the power n. And when we are given interest rate I, then our accumulation factor is 1 plus I to the power n, and similarly Vn is equals to 1 plus I to the power minus n. Now we will do one question to apply the concept again that we have learned. This question is given on page number 11 on chapter 5 in CM1. In this question we are given D2 is 8%, and we have to calculate the accumulation of 500 rupees at the end of 3 years. So to do that, first I'll calculate the effective 6-month discount rate, which will be D2 upon 2, that is 0.08 upon 2, that is 0.04 or 4%. So this is my effective discount rate for 6-month period. Now I'll calculate D. So D will be 1 minus 0.04 square, that is 0.9216, or D equal to 0.0784 or 7.84%. Now to accumulate the amount at the end of 3rd year, we will take 500 and multiply it with the accumulation factor of 0 to 3, which is nothing but 500 into 1 minus 0.0784 to the power minus 3, and the amount will be 638.77. In the part 2 of this question, we are given that we have to calculate the discounted value of a payment of 800 at time 5. To do that, I've been given I12 as 0.09. So my monthly effective discount rate will be 0.09, So I can calculate my annual effective discount rate from this as 1 minus D equals to 1 minus D12 upon 12 to the power 12, which will be so this will give me 1 minus D 0.913621, and the discounted value of that amount will be 800 into discounting factor of 0 to 5, that is 800 into 1 minus D to the power 5, that is 800 into this amount that we calculated 0.913621 to the power 5, which will be 509.24. So that was all for today. In this video, we learned about effective and nominal interest discount rates. This was an important chapter. Some of the calculations you might first find difficult, but when you practice and read the chapter again from the material, those calculation and formulas will come very handy in later chapters. So thank you guys, thank you for watching this video.